Gotcha.
Everybody, welcome to another episode of the Hoosier Shooting Rise Above podcast. And I have with me again, I promise I'm going to get it right this time, one of my really good friends, Andrew Fountain. He's got a really good story. He's got a very unique story. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to own my black eye. And I depended on if I want to do this or not, but I keep telling people, anytime you first time do something is going to be terrible. Yeah. We coached together for the first time, and nobody just threw us the keys to Lamborghini and said, hey, take it for a whip. You got to drive the old little beater.
It wasn't great.
And no, it was rough, but we cut our teeth as coaches. Yeah. And when I first started this podcast, and just so the viewers know, you were probably my third guest, maybe fourth guest, one of my first five.
Okay.
And his sound went out. And I couldn't hear it. And so it was a great episode. We just couldn't produce it and put it on the air because it was a bad episode. Not because of you, but because of me. But I tell people the first time you do anything, you're going to have failures. And I'm learning through this podcast, and hopefully the quality gets better every single guest. But as a coach, you also have to understand that, and a player, that you have to understand, like, you're going to be bad the first time you pick something up.
For sure.
And you have to be comfortable being bad.
For sure.
And when you mess up, I didn't throw a fit. I didn't call you crying. It was one of those, I called you, I owned it up like I was a man. And I said, hey, I screwed up. I messed up on the podcast. You gave me 3 hours of your life. Yeah. And I apologize. But anyway, this right here is Andrew Fountain. Him and I worked together at Shortridge our first couple years together in the high school scene. And we cut our teeth together on some different projects. Still one of my really good friends, and he's got a good little career. But I want to jump into this for the podcast listeners. Tell us about Andrew Fountain. Where'd you start, and how'd you get to where you were right now?
Well, first I started out as an assistant on the college level.
Assistant at the college level?
Yeah. So I graduated from Indiana State, had a cup of coffee as a walk-on there. Ended up still being really close to the program, if that makes sense. I was very close to the program, and had those coaches that were there really still took a value in me helping the program at times. You know what I'm saying?
And I want to do that real quick. We're gonna put a pin, and we're gonna put that on our wall. We're coming back to the Indiana State conversation.
Okay.
That's gonna be a huge what we talk about, but. Indiana State, and then you went to?
Then I went to, then I stopped coaching for a while.
Okay.
And then I ended up working just a regular 9-to-5 job.
You got the bug?
And then my wife was like, man, you need to figure something out. You need to go back to coaching. It's like, are you with this? And she was like, most definitely, you know. So ended up getting a job at Fishers High School. When I first moved down here, I was actually volunteering at Fishers High School. And I just couldn't do it just the way the job that I had was working. And so I ended up kind of like disappearing, you know, because it was just the way that the job worked. So maybe 5 years later, I call the same coach as the coach there at the time, Joe Leonard. I see him at a place. I say, hey, coach, man, what's going on, man? He was like, dude, where you been?
Yeah.
Like,
You're 5 years late to work.
Yeah, exactly. So I got in contact with him. I told him about my situation. I said, hey, man, I was thinking about getting back into coaching. Would love to come back and coach with you in your program. And he was like, hey, man, I need you to email me tomorrow morning. And I was like, cool. Emailed him first thing tomorrow morning. He got back with me like 3 or 4 hours later. Said, hey, man, if you're really thinking about doing this, I need you as a freshman coach. I got a job for you, everything. And I was like, okay. Told my wife about it. She was like, okay. Went from there, stayed there for 9 years, and then I ended up getting a head coaching job at Shortridge High School. So it was the place where we were at the time when we first kind of started out. And I ended up going back there to get that head coaching job and stayed there for 3 years. And I ended up moving from there and going, now where I'm at now is at Mount Vernon High School, which I'm the varsity assistant there now.
So it's interesting. This is something about you. Everybody has a brand. Everybody has a brand. I know my brand.
Okay.
I know what coaches say about me behind my back is like, man, he's just honest. He just tells you how it is. Like,
okay,
he ain't gonna lie to you. And it's funny because everyone I talk to about, it comes through, Shortridge, Mount Vernon, Fishers. I'm like, hey, you know Andrew Fountain?
Yeah.
And everyone says, my guy.
Yeah.
My guy. And that's one thing that you've
Yeah,
always had
yeah.
is that bubbly personality.
Yeah, yeah.
You genuinely care about us.
Yeah,
You care
yeah.
about the people you talk to.
Yeah, for sure.
I always tell people we have our circle, and then we have our inner circle, like our family, our parents, our wives, our kids. Those are inner circle, and that's a very intimate circle. But you also have a very large circle. But when you're in that large circle, Andrew Fountain will care about you.
Yeah, for sure.
And so going back, and we're picking up the luggage where we left it, was when you were at Indiana State. So you said you started off as an assistant. You said that cup of coffee you had as a player. Talk about that cup of coffee. Why was it just a cup of coffee? Why wasn't it you had an illustrious career and you got an Andrew Fountain next to Larry Bird statue, which they should build?
Well, it was a situation where I didn't take care of my business, you know, and it was nobody's fault but mine. And it was a situation where I went into it into college, and thinking that this was the only thing I needed to do, knowing that I had to try to walk on there. You know, I had a situation where I could have went to a different school to actually play basketball, but my mom filled out this application at Indiana State. She was like, no, you're going there. That's where you're going. And I was like, man, I don't want to go there. I want to go here and play ball. And she was like, nope, you're going here. And I was like, okay, I guess this is where I'm going. And
But here's the thing, though. You also see a lot of players chase the ball.
oh, yeah.
And that's what you want. I want to chase the ball. And your
Yeah.
mom was like, no, you're chasing education.
Yeah. So she was like, I need you to go here. I need you to get out of Gary. I need you to go get an education, get away from all this stuff that's going on. I was like, cool. Knowing behold that I didn't know this, that and I'll tell this quick story. In the arena, they call it the arena, like the rec center or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm hooping in there, and the coaches used to come in there. The assistant coaches used to come in there. Players used to come in there and play too, but the assistant coaches came in there and played one day, and I'm actually on one, I think he was like the second assistant. I was on his team, and just so happened I'm killing that day. You know, I'm just killing. I'm making shots. I'm playing defense for once. You know.
Yeah.
And what happens is I end up. He ended up asking me, you know, what was my name at the end of all the runs, and I was like, you know, my name is Drew Fountain. This is that and other. Blah, blah, blah. He was like, okay. And I didn't think nothing of it. I'm just going about my business, continue to think about it. I was like, good, that's cool.
Yeah.
But it's not where I want to be, you know. Literally the next day, I'm in the gym and I'm kind of like, I'm just putting up some shots, shooting on my own. And that coach walks through there and he's like, hey man, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, okay.
Like, am I in trouble?
Yeah. And I was like,
hurt
okay,
an
yeah,
ankle?
right.
Hurt a feeling?
So he brings me into his office and he pulls out some letters. And there's some letters from my high school coaches saying that, hey man, he would be a great walk-on for you guys. Never knew that they wrote these letters.
Yeah.
And he's like, he'd be a great walk-on for you guys. Man, we've been looking for you. Now I've already spent a year at Indiana State.
Yeah.
And they're saying that, man, we got these letters. We've been looking for you, you know. And I'm like, man, I didn't know that these letters had been written.
Yeah.
You know, so it was a pretty cool feeling that my high school coaches felt that way about me.
Which is the first thing I want to talk about, but keep going with the story because it gets better.
Yeah, and then
Well, not better, but
yeah.
it goes.
So then he says, hey man, we're looking for a walk-on. Want to know if you were interested in it. It's like, cool. I said, yeah, most definitely. I mean, this is exactly what I'm coming here for, you know. And lo and behold, I wasn't taking care of business outside the court. So I ended up going to a practice. I ended up practicing. I ended up hurting my ankle, spraining my ankle really bad. It was probably broke.
Yeah, we didn't have broken bones back in the day. Concussions.
Yeah, so that same day, same coach brings me back in and says, hey man, what are you doing, man, in class? I was like, and in my mind, I'm like, nothing. I'm not even going to class almost.
Ooh.
So he's like, hey, and he shows me my grades, and I'm like, he was like, man, we can't keep you, man, if your grades aren't great. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is just, you know, not being, I'm just a young dude.
Yeah.
You know, first time being away from home, and I'm just kind of saying like, this is my goal and this is what I want to do. And I was just not.
You're kind of chasing the ball.
Exactly. And I'm not seeing the big picture of what my mom sent me here there for. You know what I'm saying? So they ended up saying, hey man, we can't keep you, this, that, and other, but we love to keep you around, you know, keep you involved, things of that nature, which they did. Though both Coach Rick Ray and Kareem Richardson, they kept me around all the time. When they had stuff going on, they would always invite me. If there was a recruit that came in, they would literally come and tell me, hey man, we got a recruit coming in. Can you show him around? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they would do those types of things for me, which was crazy. I mean, it was really crazy to see. And then I think my next year, I ended up taking this class, and it was literally like you went one time. And the guy told you everything you needed to know about the class. And your job was to go and find the job that you wanted to be doing when you got out of high school. I mean, when you got out of college. And then I was like, cool. I already know who I'm going to. You know, so I ended up going to Coach Rick Ray, and I said, hey man, I got this class, man. They're telling me I got to do this, and all I got to do is write some papers every week. So they basically kind of put me on staff a little bit. And I basically just shadowed those guys. And I went to every practice. I kept some stats. I was in coaches meetings. And then I figured out and saw all the things that come with coaching besides just the coaching part of it, which was pretty cool. So I ended up graduating, ended up getting doing an internship at Purdue Calumet, which is Purdue Northwest now. Ended up becoming an assistant after my first year. Stayed there for 3 years. Stayed there for 3 years.
So this is something that I know that you know this, but if you're a young listener, if you're in middle school, high school, whether you're a parent and you're trying to teach this to your kid, or just a young athlete or an old athlete, the one thing I've always heard you say, I don't know if you've picked up on it, was you always owned your own mess.
Oh, for sure.
It was never your mess. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
you've given examples like I was a young man, I didn't know what I was doing first time out of town, but that was an excuse. The first thing you did was, I messed up. Mm-hmm. Again, going back to the first podcast, I called you and said, I messed up. It was, I didn't blame anybody, you don't blame anybody. That was the first thing you did, which is the most important thing.
Yep.
And I think as a coach, this is one thing I have pet peeves about, and I want to drill this home to anybody. If I sub you out and you're, oh, well, he did this, he rotated, he did this. I need you to guard 23. You didn't guard 23. And the player says, you know what? I messed up. I got you. I'll do better.
Yeah.
You got a better chance of getting in.
For sure.
And coaches, we know the MOs.
For sure.
We study and we're like, okay, we know that. When I sub a kid and he says something, 99% of the time I'm like, I knew he was going to say that. But when you own your stuff, it's easier to coach you.
Yeah.
That's the first thing you do. Whether it's in the business world or whatever, you mess up, I'm not going to say be a man, you be an adult.
Yes.
Because that applies to both genders.
Yes.
You're being an adult. That's the first part of it. But the other thing, the other underlying was the foundation of you as a person. If you were a turd, you wouldn't have had those connections.
For sure.
And this is the part where people don't understand how small this basketball world is.
Yep.
You got a bunch of third grade parents that are getting into it and they think they can tell off a coach. They think they can screw a program over. They can do these things. You very well could have been, they had that meeting, the worst day of your life, you would say? One of the top 5. You broke your ankle, and now you're getting let go from the team. You found out you got bad grades. Probably the first time you heard you had to go to class. Whoa, hold on. I thought I was just waking up and doing everything.
Right.
I thought you guys were paying me to walk on this
Yeah, exactly.
So probably one of the worst days of your life, you could have told the coach to stick it. You could have flipped out. You could have told him all this, that. You owned your mess. And you kept that bridge intact.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, and the thing about it was, it's like, as soon as he told me that, I was almost in tears, first of all. And then, second of all, I was like, I immediately went back to myself and I said, dang, I messed up.
Yeah.
I messed up. I said, I knew I should have been doing this, and I didn't do it.
Can I say something about that real quick?
Yeah.
It is hard to do that. Even as a husband, a father, a wife, a coach, anything, a dad, it is hard to look yourself in the mirror.
And I was 18, 19 years old at that point in time. But my mom is always, she's a big factor in my life, and she's always said, hey man, if something goes wrong, you need to always look back at what you can do better, you know, and it's never, don't ever point the finger at anything that happens wrong.
Yeah.
Always look at what you could have done better. So, but keeping that bridge intact was one of my things. It was like, I wouldn't have been able to get those particular opportunities if I was deterred, like you said. They really saw, like Coach Ray, he thought he was the one that told me, hey man, I think you could be a really good coach. And I took heed to that. And to see those two young, they were young, I mean, obviously they're a little older now, but they were young black males that I actually was like, man, I've never seen this before. Have a little bit of authority, and other people gravitate toward them. I was like, man, I think I can do that. And when he told me that, then I was like, man, let's dabble into that. And then I kind of started really like asking him more questions and really building a relationship with him, Coach Ray and Coach Richardson, you know. And the funny thing about it is I saw Coach Richardson at the Charlie Hughes. He's at Xavier right now. And this was the first time I ever told him that thank you about.
That was powerful, wasn't
it?
Yeah. Tell me about that.
Yeah.
Or if it's too emotional.
No, it's not emotional at all. But
for me, that hits me. That hits me when people tell me like I had a big influence. I was like, I was just screaming at you. He's like, no, that screaming that changed my life.
But he said, I was we had just got done playing. I was talking to the guys, and I see him. I actually, as I'm talking, I'm seeing him walk down the. We were at Carmel.
Yeah.
So he's walking down. We're in the upper deck area, and he's walking down, and I'm like, man, that's Coach Rich. I said, that's Coach Rich. I was like, man, I ain't seen this dude in so long. And I'm talking to him. He just throws up a peace sign, and he keeps walking. And I get done talking with the guys, and then I end up going over there to sit with him. We talked for a long time, man. Obviously hugged, embraced, or whatever. And when I was getting ready to leave, I said, man, I'm gonna leave you alone, but I need to tell you something. I was like, hey man, you remember when I walked on for a minute? He was the one that actually got me back in school, because I ended up getting kicked out of school.
So he put his neck on the line for you.
Yeah, yeah. So he ended up, there was a summer where I ended up coming back down, and one of my buddies, he actually was trying to help me figure out life. And he took me to Coach K. Rich and was like, hey man, can you help me get back into school? It's like, hold on for a second. Did something. We got up, went to the dean's office. He talked to the dean. We sat down and we talked to the dean. He got me back in school.
So, all right, real quick.
Yeah.
You got me on another tangent.
Yeah.
I always talk about you need to have a superpower to be in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Like we always, there's some superpower. You look at TJ McConnell. Mm-hmm. He's not 6'9". Mm-hmm. He's not the most athletic, but he is the most in shape and the hardest worker. Mm-hmm. Patrick Beverly was the toughest defender. You have guys that are the best rebounder. Mm-hmm. You look at Kevin Durant, and I'm not just cherry picking great guys. I'm cherry picking and then you got guys that are their superpowers to run their mouth. Their superpower, Draymond's superpower is he's the ultimate glue guy.
Yeah,
and he will do anything to get that team together.
IQ is superior.
Superior.
Yeah.
My superpower is I know I'm not afraid to work. Mm-hmm. Like you may be smarter than me, you may be better looking, but I will be the hardest worker in the gym. Mm-hmm. If someone says, oh, you got to outwork Paul, you're like, I ain't doing that. Yeah. Like, I'm not afraid to outwork anybody.
Yeah.
And your superpower, though, is you have a good personality. You got people that pull for you.
Yeah.
And that superpower came out in that moment. Because he very well could have put his neck out for you.
Yeah.
And you very well could have failed out of school the very next week. Yeah.
And the thing about it is, like, I struggled with that for a minute, trying to figure out what my superpower was.
Yeah.
And once I figured that out, and this was like maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, where I figured really like, man, what am I meant to do? What is my superpower? How can I feed into that superpower? And I really figured it out about 5, 6 years ago. And like, man, I connect well with people.
You do.
And I care for people. And like, if you've not ever done anything wrong with me, man, I'm for you. I'm 10 toes down with you. I'm gonna try to help you do whatever you need to do if you need me. And I think, like you said, I think he saw that, and I think he was like, man, he's a good kid, man. He's just trying to figure it out, man, let me help him out.
Yeah.
Which was a pretty cool thing, and I thanked him for that. And he was like, hey man, I remember. He said, I remember that situation, but never knew that you felt that way about it.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
But I also think that your humility to own your stuff and to own your black eye.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it easy. You know, that feeds into that superpower as well.
Yeah.
I mean, now don't get me wrong. Listen, if it's my bad every other minute,
No,
it's not. You can't live life like that.
No.
You say my bad, but then you find a way to fix it.
Yeah,
my
yeah,
bad,
yeah,
and you
yeah,
fix
yeah,
it.
yeah.
But if it's just a whole bunch of my bad,
Yeah,
eventually you're gonna sit the back of the
Yeah,
bench.
yeah, for sure.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
that. But
yeah.
as a third, and going back to third grade parents, they don't understand how small this coaching world is. So you flip out at a coach. Well, guess what? 6 years from now, that same guy that you flipped out at, we remember stuff.
Yeah.
And it's funny because there's some guys now that, I'm not saying names, but there were some kids that I had as a very young athlete.
Yeah.
And the way the parents talk to me will never leave me. And this kid has a very big opportunity to play in college. And I'm surprised the parents finally found a way to shut up. Because I thought those parents were going to cause that kid to get a scholarship lost.
Yeah.
Because I was his first ever coach. And I remember the first time they talked to me that way, I'm like,
What is it?
who are you talking to? and you know, but I would never go out of my way to hurt a kid.
Right.
But, you know, if those parents are respectful and they get on the verge of, okay, let's say I'm mid-major, but I'm on the cusp of being able to play at Purdue, maybe my phone call is the one. They call and say, hey, you know what? Like, I had this kid, parents were awesome. And a lot of people don't understand the value of grades. And I'm doing a lot of recruiting and helping people right now. And I call and I have one kid that has a 3.0 GPA, but it's at a very intense high school where I'm like, hey, he's not going to hurt your grades. Oh, he's not going to hurt my grade? Good kid?
Yeah.
Come on over.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, guess what? This kid's going to hurt my GPA. He might win me some games. You know what? I'm good. I'll pass. Like, you got to know what you're selling.
Yeah.
So that's awesome, man. I just, but I love the fact that your superpower is you walk out of a room and people are like, man, I want to be on that guy's team. I want to work for that guy. I want to work with that guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And you that's not my superpower for the record. I don't walk out of rooms. People don't say that about me. I know that's not my superpower.
The few things I've learned from those guys, those coaches and a lot of the coaches that I've coached with is like, you got to be able to do a lot of different things, okay? Very, very, very well. You can't be just a X and O guy, but then not be able to do individual workouts. You can't be an individual workout guy and then not be personable. You can't be personable, then not be able to do the administrative stuff. You know what I'm saying? You got to be very good at all of these different things, especially when I was at Short Ridge. I really found that out about how detailed you have to be in all these different aspects of coaching. And a lot of parents don't know that you have to do a lot of these different things to be a really good coach. And they don't know that you're doing all these things. They just think that you're just coaching a game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that's it.
Well, it's funny because when I was a little kid, I remember, this is kind of a stupid story, but hear me out. I remember having my mind blown because I thought that my teacher slept at the school. I was like, you know, like, hold on, you have a family? You have a house? Hold on. You don't just wake up and you look dressed?
Yeah.
You don't just do this and then as soon as I leave, you go to sleep? Like, hold on, you have your own life?
Yeah.
Do you remember when I thought that I know you had that same thing too. Like,
Yeah, I get it.
my parents watched NASCAR growing up.
I get it.
And I remember the commercial breaks going on. I thought the cars just stopped on the road and they all got out, you know.
Nah, took a break.
Took a drink of water, hit the water, and then they got back in the car like, okay. And so, but it's funny because as parents, now they think we do the same thing. Like, hold on, don't you live in the gym? No, I go home to a family.
Yeah.
I have grades I got to keep up with. I got everything you're doing. I'm doing that. Plus now I'm coaching.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
Yeah. and the thing about that is those parents, they see you doing all these different things, but then they go back and they talk to X, Y, and Z, and they don't know that you know X, Y, and Z. and then you're like, oh, really? You know, and that's how burning those bridges become really effective when you got, especially a young youth athlete. You know what I'm saying? Or even on the high school realm. I mean, it really hurts you on the high school realm where you got kids that they have these different scholarships, but then won't go on these visits. Go on every single visit.
Take advantage of it.
Take advantage of it, because you never know what's going to happen, especially nowadays with the transfer portal.
You ever heard the John Morant story?
Nah.
You ever heard how he got recruited?
No.
So it's a true story. Coach is watching high school. He's at the gym watching the tournaments and whatnot. It was before they had the mega complexes. It was just he had to go to the gym. And so he was like, man, he's watching. Nothing's really catching his eye. He goes to the shop. What do they call it? Concession stand.
Okay.
Gets a bag of chips. As he opens the bag, he hears another game going on. He pokes his head in the gym. No jerseys, no nothing. It's not even an official game. It's just a pickup game. Some high school kids just playing for the love. John Morant. That's how he got found.
That's crazy.
And it's just crazy because think about this: if he was slacking off, if I'm not saying they weren't even keeping they weren't big scoreboard. It was just some guys playing in street clothes. And if he were to just not be himself and not showing off with the athleticism, guess what? Today's going to be my off day. You just never know who's watching.
Yeah,
that might be an assistant coach from Murray State that offers you a job.
Yeah,
and that's how he got found. Yeah. And that's again going back to you never know who's watching.
Yeah. Like it's the same thing. It's very similar to the what's the one guard that went to West Virginia who plays for the Bulls now?
Oh, not. It's not Smalls, is it?
Nah, I can't remember his name, but Huggins was like, he was like, man, yeah, this is how I found this kid. I mean, he was like, man, I had a cup of coffee, and I had a cup of coffee, and it's 8 a.m, and this is the only kid pressing. He's the only kid picking up full court at 8 a.m. He was like, I'm supposed to be looking at somebody else, but I'm looking at this kid pressing.
Yeah.
At 8 a.m. He was like, we need this kid. And he offered him on the spot.
Now, this is what people don't understand, and this is the part where it even goes back to the foundation of who you are. And the guy that mentored me has a Kobe Bryant story.
Okay.
Long story short, he's working out with the Nets, and after he works out with Calipari, he comes back to Schilling and says, hey, can we work out a little bit more? And so he ends up working out with Schilling for like 2.5 hours. And then he goes to Sacramento to do his other pre-draft workouts. And then he ends up getting drafted by the Lakers and finds Schilling and says, hey, I do those drills every day. Thank you for showing those. But I wake up and I say, Kobe didn't just wake up in the morning and just flick at the light switch that day and say, I'm going to be great.
Right.
He flicked that switch in 5th grade. He flicked that switch in 3rd grade.
Yeah.
And it never got unflicked.
Yeah.
That kid didn't just wake up one morning and say, I'm going to press today.
Yeah.
John Morant didn't wake up one day and say, I got a 40-inch vertical. I'm going to dunk on people today.
Right.
You didn't wake up one day and just said, I'm going to own my stuff and be my superpower.
Yeah.
That superpower and those guys' athletic abilities were something they picked up from 3rd grade. And that is who you are as a foundation. It's who you are as a person.
Yeah.
And so I keep trying to tell kids. It blows my mind. And I thought about this morning. I might be salty talking about it, but the amount of kids that just don't come in and get the shots up. I've had parents walk up here and say, why do my kids need to shoot? My kids already can do all this stuff. He's putting up 14 in the C bracket.
Yeah.
Why does my kid need to come in and shoot? And I'm just looking at it, and I'm like, I look at these parents, I'm like, what do you mean? Why do you need to shoot? Like, I'm sorry. And the other part that kills me, I'm kind of venting, is I dig a little bit.
No, you good.
And I say, like, okay, so tell me about your playing career. Oh, I got cut in middle school, but I want my kid to be great. So you're telling your kid not to come in and get the extra shots up? Like, I wasn't even that good. I wasn't that great of a player. I was a good player, but I wasn't great of a player. And I was shooting a good amount. Like, and people that, it just mind blows me to have, like,
I think the thing about it is, like, I think kids right now, and some of it, I guess it goes back to parents too, and some of them, they want something that is, they see it and they want it, but they don't want to work for it, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
So the one thing that I'm really diving into this year is the process over outcome.
What was it?
The process over outcome.
Okay, tell me.
So I'm diving into that a lot lately. This year, and it's basically, you have to be able to understand what your process is to get to the outcome.
Yeah.
And you can't just get to the outcome and just say, oh, this is what it is. No, that's not what it is. You have to be able to go through this process and to be able to getting there. You're not going to have a 40-inch vertical right away. You're not going to be a lights out shooter like JJ Redick or Steph Curry right away. You're not going to be have crazy handles like Jamal Crawford or Kyrie Irving right away. You know, those things it has to be a process in all of that stuff. You have to spend thousands and thousands of hours doing that stuff. Those guys spend thousands and thousands of hours doing that stuff and shooting. Like, you need to shoot every day.
Yeah.
At least every other day.
Every other day.
Like, at least every other day. You know, like, you just can't just say, oh, I'm just going to go out there and make shots. There's a process to it. And I think a lot of kids now, parents have so much power now that they can just shift their kid into a certain spot. And them not have to work for it. You know, back in the day, when I was coming up, you had to try out for an AAU team. You just couldn't just pay $400 and just get on a team, you know, or make my own team if that's the case. You know what I'm saying? Like, you couldn't do that. Like, you had to literally go to a gym. There was 60 guys there, and you had to try out for 12 spots. And if you didn't make it, you didn't make it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one thing that I'm trying to get to my son now. Like, dude, it's one day I'm not gonna have to pay for this.
Yeah.
You're gonna have. It's all gonna depend on the stuff that you've done when you go back to 3 years old or third grade. All that's gonna depend on if you make that team.
So the guy that mentored me is Ed Schilling, and he's the head coach at Pepperdine.
Yeah.
I just want people to know this isn't some guy like, you know, Schilling is.
He's a dude.
He was with Calipari. He was in the NBA, youngest assistant at the time.
Yeah.
He told me something. I'm not trying to throw his business out there, but he was like, all my camps, everything that I did, I had to raise my own money. So what I did is I mowed the yards. I went around and mowed yards. And that's how I raised money to pay for my camps. And at some point in time, I think his parents said they'd pay half. And you're like, oh man, that's mean you're making a kid work at a young age. It was like, no, it taught him responsibility. But now, guess what? When he went to that camp, it wasn't mess around time because he put the sweat equity to get in there.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it was crazy because I remember training this kid and he was really talented. He was a cone warrior, man. This kid was slashing cones. Like, every cone in the gym was afraid of this dude. And then he got on the court. And he would go 90, but it was never 100.
Right.
And the parents came to me and asked me a question. They're like, what do we do? And I was like, make him sit for a year. Well, we don't like that. Well, you're not going to get anything out of it because he doesn't believe in the 100%.
Right.
And there's very handful of people. I got into it with a coach one time. This guy mentored me. And he made a comment that hurt me because he says, people are like water. They will take the least resistant path. Electricity takes the least resistant path. And I'm like, people will do the bare minimum that is required of them as a person. And I disagreed with him. Because I'm like, look at me, look how I did this. I'm above and beyond. He goes, yes, Paul, but you're an exception. Like, you're not there. Yes, you're an anomaly. And I know you're an anomaly. I've worked with you. And you know, but the more I'm around people, the more I realize they want to do the bare minimum. They don't want to mow the yards. The parents, like, how do I get my kid to work hard? You punish your kid. How do you punish your kid? Well, I mean, I would never spank my kid for going 90% on the court. That's not that's not how discipline works. But if you take away the game, guess what? Either you're going to learn that kid's going to be clawing to get back in the game and go 100%, or he's going to quit. What happens if my kid quits? He didn't love it. He didn't live and breathe it. My wife, the second year I was with my wife, and I don't know if she's listening or not, she asked me to quit coaching and put our marriage first. You know what she did the third year of our marriage?
What's that?
She told me to get back on the court because I'm not dealing with that for the offseason. Because she could see me clawing and, you know, going nuts. I got to be on the court. I got to be doing this. She was like, and in our marriage, I'll open up a little bit, but like, we've talked about, hey, should I step away from the game? And she goes, you ain't doing that again. I dealt with that once before, and you went crazy. You were like a pent-up cat. And I was like, so I have that, like, you know, like, I got to get on the court. You have that. You stepped away. The kid has to want it too. If you take away the game from the kid and he's like, I'm fine with it, he probably didn't want it. If you take it away from the kid and he goes nuts, get him back in.
And you said something about like that, being in love with it, and the key phrase to that is in love. It's not love it, it's in love. Like you're in love with your wife.
Yes.
You will take a bullet for her. You will do whatever you have to do to keep that relationship afloat. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm not sure if some kids are in love with the game more so than they just. I love playing. I like playing. You know, it's just like social media.
Yeah.
You know, you put a heart by it, you love it. Yeah. But you're not in love with
There's
it.
a difference.
There's a difference.
Oh, there's
you know
such a difference.
Yeah.
Like, for example, our friendship. I love our friendship.
Yeah.
Would I take a bullet for you? Probably not.
Yeah.
Like, would you take a bullet for me?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Would you take a bullet for your kids?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
And I would do it with a smile.
Exactly.
Like, I know I'm doing the right thing, and it's so true.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids are like, oh, I love the game. Oh, you want to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go shoot? I'll tell you something. I had a little weekend where I went through and I just took a little weekend off and went down and hung out with my buddies. We stayed out late just catching up, reminiscing on the back porch, just hanging out. I scheduled a workout at 8 in the morning, one of those workouts. I didn't ask for money, didn't ask for pay. There was no, I could have texted the people, hey, I can't do it. You know what I did at 6 in the morning after 2 hours of sleep?
What was that?
I got my butt on the court because I'm in love with it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people go on vacation. I'm on vacation. And I'm like, hey, who can I work out with? And I'm finding little ways because I'm in love with it. And people don't understand that as a player. You got to have that passion.
Yep, and you got to have, and Kevin Garnett says it all the time, you got to be obsessed with it. If you want to get to the highest and highest of levels, you have to be obsessed with it. And if you're not obsessed with it, you won't get to where you want to go. And that means 23 hours of your day, you have to be trying to figure out, how am I going to shoot today?
Yeah.
How am I going to ball handle today? How am I going to do X, Y, and Z today to get to improve every single day? It's not about social media. It's not about hanging out with my friends. And like, you have to figure out a way to do all the things that you want to do with this game every single day, 23 hours out of the day. It's almost, you have to be, it's an obsession.
I have a lot of parents that are obsessed with their kid and obsessed with basketball, but you can't force a kid to love it.
No.
You and I are both coaches, and we both have the same conversations. No. And it's funny because the coaches that I found that know the game don't force their kids to play.
I didn't want my kid to play. I did not want my son to play basketball at all.
Yeah.
Like, I literally, like, that was something that he gravitated towards it because he was in the gym all the time.
Yeah.
He saw me coaching it. He saw other players playing. He wanted to play. Cool. I'm not about to force this on you. I tell my son after every game, do you feel like you want to continue to play every game? Yeah. That's all I need to hear.
I asked 3 different questions, but I like that one. I might throw that in the mix. That might be an end season one.
Yeah. But like, I asked him, did you have fun? Were you a great teammate? Did you play as hard as you possibly could play? Those are the three other questions.
You listen to coach?
Yeah.
Which is being a good teammate.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So like, if my son is playing, like, I keep track of how many high fives he gives.
Ooh, I like that.
I keep track of, was there a timeout? Did he get up and get in the huddle to see what that play was about? That's what I'm looking at.
And everything else will take care of itself.
Oh yeah, he can. Again, I'm going to bring him to you at some point.
Oh yeah.
But he can dribble, he can shoot, he can do all these different things. But if he's not doing all these other things, that's gonna prevent him from playing. That's going to prevent him from being a great teammate to me.
Yeah.
That's going to prevent that. Again, you go back to me being a good relationship guy. Like, I don't want a kid on the team who, if there's a timeout, he's just going to sit there on the bench and slap on the bench. I don't want that kid.
Well, here's the thing you said, though. A lot of times parents can pay to get their money and just pay for their team. Doesn't necessarily mean you got a good coach. Busy does not equal better.
Yeah.
And that's one thing for me is, I have a little couple AU teams. I'm having some success with them, but everyone knows, like, if you're not on the bench, you're getting talked to.
Yeah,
like, I'm not going to be like, oh, just sit on the bench and pout. If you're on the bench pouting, there's a big that's going to be a mommy and daddy issue that we're all going to sit down and be like, you're off the team.
Yeah,
and a lot of daddy coaches, and they're afraid to do that, and they're afraid to hold accountable because, oh well, everyone paid money for this team. I always say, and I tell parents this: you're not paying to play basketball. You're paying for the mentorship.
For sure.
And if I'm not mentoring your kid,
For sure.
I mean, and we've talked about it. You look at the overwhelming numbers of kids that aren't going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many kids go from, I think there's a 60% drop off from middle school to high school.
Yeah, yeah.
And high school to college, there's a 99% drop off.
That's
And then from
crazy.
college to the NBA, there's another 99% drop off.
That's crazy.
And so what people don't understand is that you are literally being obsessed, and then you're going to be, who's more obsessed, you or Kevin Durant? Mm-hmm. Kevin Durant's more obsessed.
Yeah, yeah.
Am I more obsessed than LeBron? Are you more obsessed than Luka?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, your obsession got you here, but you know those guys are more obsessed than you.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're willing to give up anything for that.
For sure.
Oh man, I love it, man.
Yeah.
This was a good one, man. I'm glad you came back. I'm glad you came back.
Anything for you, Paul.
I got one question for you.
What's up?
For the record, man, we dropped a lot here. This was a good one. This was a good one. If you could change one thing in basketball, you wake up one day, you're the commissioner of basketball in the USA. Any rule change you make sticks. I had one person say that they would mandate a mechanical coach, someone that taught you how to walk and run properly and didn't just let you walk.
Oh my gosh!
It was mandated that if you have an AAU team, you have to have one of those directors with you in some way, shape, or form. Mine is, I think you have to, any games you play, you have to have 2 practices. Minimum 2 practices you have to for every game. You can put it in a 4-point line. I had one person say that mandatory shot clock.
Yeah.
Swishes are worth 4.
Yeah.
What would be your rule and why?
Oh man, that's a great question. That's a great question.
And everybody has to follow it. I had one person that said NBA players had to entertain the crowd.
Okay, I might have 2.
Hit me with them.
I might have 2. One, during the summer, the players have to coach each other. No coaches can coach.
Ooh, I don't like that, but why?
Because the player, there's a connectivity that our players have to have.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So they have to figure out, and it's going to go back to this next one that I got, where I think we need to play more outside and having kids to structure their own games. Everything is structured for everybody now.
Oh, yeah, to a fault.
You know, like it's literally like no pickup games anywhere besides if you get invited to wherever these special runs are or whatever it is.
But that's still not unstructured.
Huh?
It's still not unstructured. It's still structured.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. But you can't say, you can't go to a community center and just go, well, they're running, I'm going to go get a pickup game. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but the coaching part of it, where is the kids would understand more of what the coaches go through, where they have to figure out, man, what sets are we running? Man, how are we going to, what the rotation is going to be like?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How do, they have to figure all that out themselves. You know what I'm saying? They get a chance to see what we go through, and then once the season starts, now they can. I think they have a better understanding of why coaches think the way they think.
But I also think that develops leadership too.
Exactly.
It's a forced leadership.
Exactly.
And it's
Exactly.
funny. Back in the day when we played, if you came across if you didn't foul me, it was one of those, like, everyone gets upset. Like, oh, if I go up and you didn't foul me, well, and I call foul, it was always like this, all right. But then the next 3 times I touched the ball, people were like, foul, just to get you back. And so you found yourself eating some fouls. Or if it was the opposite, like, if I foul you, I got to call it. I call the foul. The foul calls the foul. If I come across your face and punch you, and you didn't call the foul, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I ain't driving for the rest of the game, because I know he's going to come across me at least 3 times. Like, now it's a foul? And I think that it builds a maturity of, like, it shows people who you are. And we all had that guy that was...
most definitely.
Like, oh, foul. Nobody touched you. And then...
Well, I grew up where if you got fouled and you were able to get the ball up to the rim, it's not a foul. Like, you should have made it.
Yeah.
You should have made it. If you got it up to the rim, you should have made it.
But it taught you.
Yeah, but it taught me not to just call fouls at all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just wouldn't call fouls, because when I was younger, like the older guys, they would say, "Oh, dude, you got it up to the rim, dude. You should have made it, man. That's not a foul." You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, so I won't call fouls no more. I'll just play harder, or I'll just do some other stuff. Obviously, we're playing a little bit of street ball here, and like I'll get the ball up there next time.
But then when you have a referee and you get the ball to the rim and you hear the foul call, you're like, oh, that's easy.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
An easy game now.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So I mean, I think having players coach themselves in the summer, but also having kids go outside and playing.
Yeah.
And structuring their own open gym type of deal where, they got to make the decision on who they're going to pick. They got to make, who's got next. If you get on, you better stay on. I can name 100 different places that I used to go play, and like if you lost,
yeah,
good luck getting back on.
You were off for seven or eight games.
Yeah. So the wins meant a lot more so than now, because now they get 150 some odd games every summer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they're like, well, I'll just go play the next game.
It was funny because I remember majority of the fights happening. I played at this little place called Hurlburt Field in Fort Walton Beach. And I remember they had a whiteboard, and all the fights never happened on the court with fouls. All the fights happened because a name got erased. And like, we said your name. And
yeah, exactly.
With this. Like, no, I'm getting back because it meant something.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I didn't spend an hour and a half shooting on a side goal to get overlooked. Like, I'm getting on that court.
Exactly.
And like, eventually you learned who was going to fight and who wasn't. You're like, all right, just shut up. Let him get on the court. You're going to lose anyways. Man, it is
but
awesome.
I hope those was two good ones.
Say what?
I said, I hope those were two good ones. I think that would be great.
Man, you did awesome. I appreciate it. Hey, man, check it out. If you made it this far, obviously you're hearing something that you like. Make sure you share this with a friend. Share it with somebody that is interested in basketball. We're just going to keep sharing the game. Appreciate it, man. You did awesome.
Yeah.